Hello, and thank you for tuning into Kentucky Good Vibes. I'm your host, Dishayna Perkins, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing the very beautiful and talented South Florida-based rising star with multiple top 10 hits on the Billboard music charts, Miss Kendra Erika. How are you today?
I am stellar. And yourself?
I'm pretty good, pretty good.
Good.
Long day, but I'm good. So tell us what you've been up to or what's going on. Anything new going on with Miss Kendra?
So no matter what state of the world that we're in, I'm always making it a point to keep the momentum going, to keep the projects flowing, just to keep the accelerator on
Mhm.
the floor. So during the pandemic, whatever time period you want to coin it as, I never stopped moving. I took advantage of what technology has invented and presented to us. So
Mhm.
I was still able to do all my writing, collaborating, and recording via virtual and remote. So and throughout the
Mhm.
duration of 2020, I wrote and recorded over five songs. Two of them actually have already been released, and then the rest are in the vault right now. It's just they're just they're waiting for their time to come out and fight. So and with everything being elevated and from things you know uh opening back up,
Mhm.
my mojo has gotten back. My travel schedule is right back where it was pre-pandemic, and I'm looking forward to what the next couple months, and most
Mhm.
importantly the next years ahead. So
Is your schedule pretty busy?
it has, but that's what I it's almost like that's where I get my stimulation from, is
Mhm.
when everything is just constantly moving. Because I mean, I'd like to say that I'm a flighty person. Well, actually I am. So it's
Mhm.
not what I'd like to say, but actually I do like to say it, because it's who I am, and it's what I'm all about. Um and I'm grateful for the process, and also for the newfound, and not newfound, but for the revived momentum that I
Mhm.
have. So
Okay. So can you tell us who Kendra Erica is and what she's about?
she is multi-level. I can't really explain myself, because I'm the kind of person that you just need to spend a lot of time with in order to figure stuff out. But as far as the generic or the summary goes, I mean, I was born in South Florida, and I was gravitated very early, like something just pulled me towards the performance aspect, and that's what I wanted to pursue. And I always had the confidence in knowing that I wanted to do this. And but at the same time, I was born tone deaf. So
What
I
do you mean by tone deaf?
I could I couldn't compute tones and
Mhm.
melodies there, or notes. But then I was introduced to a classical opera coach, and he really was able to bring the broom and clean up the
Mhm.
mess that was presented to him, but also rework my vocals to a point where he built a foundation, and that foundation I'm still like fertilizing and growing from.
Mhm.
And from there, I was just in community theater. I did a lot of school involvement, a lot of involvement in school productions, and then just from singing locally around here, I had to really expand a repertoire with songs that the South Florida Boca clientele and patron really liked, which are like the Frank Sinatras and the Billie Holidays. So I had a really jazzy expansion from there, from classical and musical theater, and then that just started to really take a shape of its own when I began writing and recording. And that's when all of those past influences then just started to fall into their like called on space. So, and thus far, every person that I've met from different activities and programs that I did, modeling wise, singing wise, in New York and LA, it just led into, like, one person just led into another person. And from there, I've had 5 top 10 hits on the Billboard dance chart, and yeah, one of them went to #1, which is Self-Control. So for those that keep on dancing to Self-Control, you all are my in a way my creatures of the night. And yeah, like, that's just who I am. If anybody wants to find out anything else from me, just Google me. That's all that I say, because I've said my life story way too many times. So I'm like, just Google it.
And when I say that sometimes, I'm like, you don't believe me? Google me. Like,
yeah.
Some people, you be like, yeah, I had 5 songs on the top dance charts, and they're like, yeah, right. I'm like, Google me.
Yeah, just you can pick up your device and Google for yourself. But yeah, like, I've said my life story way too many times. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that, and then okay, yeah, like, you start losing grip of like
yeah, it's like a never-ending what do you call it, deja vu story. And I've been here before,
and it keeps on leveling up too. So it's just naturally about the embracing what's in the now and looking forward to the future. So
okay, so when did you realize you had a gift for singing and songwriting?
Well, performing a lot in different clubs and restaurants. I was doing
Were you a solo artist?
A solo artist. Yeah, I've worked with bands before, and I've definitely worked with backup dancers and all of that, but mostly as a solo artist. When I say I've worked with bands, I mean in the sense that they backed me and what I wanted to sing. So I was never I was never part of a whole, or like anything like no something Pussycats or anything like that. So but from singing a lot of covers throughout my gigging, like my gigging stretch, I always wanted to experience and go through the process of songwriting, because I felt like that was where the enjoyment would come from for me. So that's how that really came to be. And then I just, from certain things falling into place,
Mhm.
because that's how this whole thing works. It's not like, oh, how did this happen? It's just like, it just happens.
Mhm.
Things just fall into place. You get placed in rooms with people, and whether it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, then that's what just is meant to be. So I then was introduced to some producers in Miami, and I was working with them, and then from them they introduced me to another person, and then from there I did collaboration, do like songs with material with them, and then this person, it's just like a, as you said,
Domino effect.
ending a
Mhm.
never ending door to window, window to window, however you see the circulatory process happening.
Mhm. Okay, so you've worked with a great number of producers, like Grammy-winning producers. Can you tell us how was that experience? And who all have you worked with?
I have worked with well, of course, Damon Sharp.
Mhm.
We've racked up a bunch of songs. 4 of them hit the top 10 hit the
Mhm.
top 10 on the dance chart, and we have a lot others that have yet to be unreleased, but have such strong legs of their own.
Mhm.
I've also worked with Mark Mangold, who I co-wrote Avalanche with. I wrote a song with John DiNicola during the pandemic, has not been released yet. John DiNicola wrote Time of My Life from Dirty Dancing.
Mhm.
Also have I worked with, I did a song with Ned Cameron. That was virtual during the pandemic, yet to be released. But what Kevin Wild, I did Break the Wheel with him. I also worked with Charlie Midnight, who was a part of Song of Hope. Who else? Who else have I worked with?
You just don't want to leave nobody out.
And a recent endeavor was is Andrew Kirk, Run Aground, is a part of Closer by the Chainsmokers, and also he has a really successful record out there called Chase You Down. And we have two really distinguishable tracks releasing. And
So what was Mhm. I'm sorry to interrupt. Before I forget, what was the song, like when you said you did covers in bars and places like that? What was the song that really got the crowd hyped that you covered?
Okay, so this was like the genesis of how I started my whole gigging. Just my this is what birthed me stapling into the community gig wise. So I was around 15, I want to say. Yeah, I was around 15 or 16. And it was a Sunday night, and my parents and I, we rounded up and we went to karaoke night at this Italian restaurant called Renzo's here in Boca Raton, Florida. And since it was karaoke night, being that I'm a singer, and being that that's what I love to do, and long story short, but I got up and I sang Time to Say Goodbye, Andrea Bocelli. For those of you that don't know that song by title, it's the song in Step Brothers, the Catalina wine mixer.
How's it go? Hear it.
Time to say goodbye,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was 15. I had just like basically gotten to a point where I could sing this song from being in, regimented German opera singer training. And I performed the song, and it followed with a very enthusiastic standing ovation from the crowd. And after I performed this number, Renzo, the owner, he comes to my table where my parents and I were sitting with 2 glasses of wine, and he's like, "I have a proposition for you." And he said, "So I just lost my Sunday singer," which is, I think, probably why they were doing karaoke, just to fill that void of entertainment for that
That was your door of opportunity right there.
Yeah. And so he said, I just lost my Sunday singer because she's like starting a family, whatever her deal was. But like you said, that was my foot in the door. So, and then from there, I really had to very, very quickly build up a repertoire of songs that I could fill a night with. So from there, I just started learning like the Frank Sinatras, like all of that, like the Nora Joneses, Adele's. I didn't just.
How many songs, like, typically did you have to sing while you were there?
It was.
Was it every night or on the weekend?
Oh no, like it started every Sunday night at this restaurant. But then when other owners of restaurants would come in, because Sunday night is sort of like when people in the restaurant business can go out and enjoy themselves, then some of them would come to Renzo's, and then they would see me, and then they would offer me an opportunity to sing at their spot. So and then from performing at those spots, that carried on over into opportunities for other locations, other venues. So it just was like this by word of mouth process, which I think is because everything, as you know, everything now is just so like instant gratification. Everything just doesn't really happen so organically anymore, but it just seems that like the by word of mouth, not method, but ways of making things happen. What is how I was able to expand myself.
Okay.
So, and I think that's like I just felt like by doing that, it, like the means of one's expansion were brought back to basics in that retrospect.
So what has been your biggest challenge as an artist or female artist?
My biggest challenge, well, the initial tone deaf was obviously there are a lot of breakthroughs with that, but a challenge that I could just say off the top of my head, I honestly just feel that I'm just really trying to like think of a certain like challenge here.
We can come back to that question if you want.
I think one of the biggest challenges for me is because I do have an education. I do, like, I feel like I did everything pretty much not nefariously. Like there's no like tarnished thing about what I've done so far, but for me personally, it's been the fact that I felt like I've had to take more of like the longer route because I didn't jet off to LA or New York at a young age. So I didn't go through that indoctrination process at such a young age. And so that's why like a lot of the artists that you see today have been indoctrinated some way or other at such a young age. And even some of them at like later ages, they've been indoctrinated.
Mhm.
But I felt like since I don't bow down and I don't take a knee to what the industry wants,
Mhm.
I've had to carve out my own path, and
Mhm.
that path is brand new. No footprints are on it. And although it's rewarding, there's a lone wolfedness uh woven through that. So I
Mhm.
think that, and also being that I treat my sexuality the way that I want to, in a very like becoming way, in a very tasteful way, to the sense that I leave things up for the imagination, which is even more enticing than just putting it all out there. That in a time and in a paradigm where, as you can see, a lot of the sexuality today has just been like dampened by a lot of just the, like I said, the instant gratification and a lot of
Industry standards.
industry standards. Yeah. So that has been a challenge, but at the same time, I'm starting to see this shift happening, because with everything that's come to light in the past year and a half, a lot of people are starting to really become more awakened to, particular or certain set standards
Mhm.
aren't working anymore.
Mhm.
So, and it's just gonna take more people with an innovative drive to really break through that.
Okay, so what is your ultimate goal?
Ultimate goal is, I honestly would love to have my own artist development firm so I can aid artists in, and also protect them
Mhm.
from the indiscrepancies of what this industry can come with. I mean, I'm not saying that they have to, but like any industry, there's a good side and then there's a bad side. So and also to protect artists from maintaining their authenticity and making sure that they are carving out their own path, and they're not just going down the yellow brick road to lead to the Emerald City where everyone looks in and sounds the same. So
What was the first song that you ever written and released? And what was the story behind that?
the first song I ever wrote or ever written was a song called For You, and it like, you should just see the artwork for it. It's super bubblegum. Like, I'm in a
Mhm.
tutu, like I just look like Lizzie McGuire on freaking Sparkle steroids. But that's what I was inspired by at
Mhm.
that particular moment in time. And but the song is called For You. For what it is, it's fun, it's catchy, and the shoot process for that was also really magical. I mean, just from the team that I was exposed to just
Mhm.
just in like looking back in general, that overall process it was like, oh, this is me. This is my
Mhm.
song. I wrote this. So there was a rewardedness in that.
Okay. So outside of music, what are your hobbies and interests?
So I love to play golf. I also love to take long walks. I like to work out. And also I like to spend time with my cats. And also and on TikTok you can see I have some cat videos,
Mhm.
you um, scattered around that you can see them. But that's just and I honestly just love to enjoy time with friends. I like to go out to new places, travel, just anything where I can let the wind take me to where it wants to.
Okay. So tell us about your new music project, As Long as You're Mine.
As long as you're mine, yeah.
Mhm.
So with Broadway reopening,
Mhm.
because I'd originally taken the Phantom of the Opera song and did a whole dance spin on it. So when the opportunity to do that again, but with a different song, it was around the time that Broadway was going to open its doors again. So we took a song from Wicked, which highlights like an intimate dynamic with two individuals, and just the song itself, As Long as You're Mine, it means that like as long as I'm here, as long as we're here, as long as
Mhm.
we're creating this moment together, I think that's the ultimate highlight of what a Broadway experience is. So I teamed up with Constantine Morales and we just banged this one out, and it and we I think we hit it out of the park, and it's it's one that not only is for the Broadway stages, but also for the dance floor as well. So it just with those two stomping grounds together, there's a lot of foot action, literally foot action that is made from this collaboration.
Okay. So can you sing us a quick snippet of that song before we wrap up?
Oh yeah. Kiss me too fiercely, hold me too tight. I need help believing you're with me tonight. My wildest dreamings could not foresee lying beside you, with you wanting me. And just for this moment, as long as you're mine, I've lost all resistance and crossed the borderline. And if it turns out it's over too fast, I'll make every lost moment last, as long as you're mine.
Okay, thank you. That was pretty.
Oh, thank you.
And you wrote that?
I did not write that. No, Stephen Schwartz, the writer of Wicked, the
Mhm.
score, he wrote that. But I borrowed it, and then I
Okay.
put a little dance
Okay, she
step on
borrowed
it.
it. Okay, okay.
I borrowed it. Yeah. I borrowed it, I signed it, and I gave it back.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay, so with that being said, is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up?
Just stay tuned for more that is to come flying out of the kitchen.
Mhm.
More will be released in the early part of 2022. I have a holiday project in the works right now. So jingle jingle.
Mhm.
And yeah, just stay up to date. And
What's your social media handles?
on Instagram, it's at Kendra Erika, TikTok at Kendra Erika, Twitter at Kendra Erika, Facebook, Kendra Erika Music, and yeah, just Google me.
Google me, baby. Okay, well, thank you for interviewing with me here at Kentucky Good Vibes. I really appreciate your time. And with that being said, stay safe out here because there is a pandemic going on. And
Yeah.
I hope to follow up with you soon.
You too.
In
Thank you.
2022, correct?
2022, it's our year.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.